At the plan zoning meeting, it was referred to Alturas as a business type of park. So there are multiple uses, as mentioned, but people from that business park could come back to this this park and visit it. It's a park you visit instead of a park which could, if it's apartments, could be, you know, part of people's backyard. Bill Parks, it was mentioned, had an idea of those two lots, trading them. Since they're taking out two lots for the proposed park, why not take out these parks? Bill's very interested in getting together with community development. He already has with the Thompson Development, but until your decision is reached tonight, I don't think those negotiations could go forward. Here are 5 lots that they have proposed here, and here it is again. As you notice with this park, it has, we were not into views, but views were a subject tonight, and we're a subject at planning and zoning. And as you can see, you have a straight view of the Bennett's lands here. Here you have a view of office buildings, parking lots, and roads. This is Bill Parks' planned park to use in that additional parkland dedication. If you approve to keep the park that is owned by the city of Moscow for us. We talked about great vistas. Susan talked about it tonight, the Thompson attorney, what a great vista was. This was an email sent to homeowners. Another, views are just great views, the best in the neighborhood. They'd be great for residential lots. We'd love for them to put them into residential lots. Here are the views. I mean, okay, it might not be built in front of, but it certainly isn't something as attractive as this. This is the view you get. No one will be building in front of there. We didn't expect a view. We weren't into views, but now we know why they want to put residential lots there. They can get more money for them. That's why they haven't initiated the exchange where Bill Parks' idea of trading those lots. Here at Garrett, too. The new parkland provides fabulous views of Moscow Mountain, the contours of the Palouse. This is word for word. I took it off the videos on the City of Moscow website. I wrote down word for word from the video. And here's the view. Parking lot, buildings. Look how the trees at Alturas Park are above us. We have to walk down a ways for older people. It faces north. It could be icy. The new park faces south. It won't have the ice conditions in the spring or late fall. Here's a tour. Out of all those mailings, 150, only around 16 people showed up, and 11 of them had signed the petition. We were there to observe. There was a person from P&Z and his family. So of people out of the 150 that came who hadn't made up their minds or just didn't come to the parkland tour, there were maybe 4 that showed up. This view, these are contours of the Palouse. Derek Thompson speaking at Planning and Zoning. I'm not adamant about moving. If the park stays, this is word for word. Stays where the park stays. It's not what I am proposing. Well, we are adamant about keeping the park where it is. It's owned by the city of Moscow. Is this Frontier Park over on West Palouse River Drive? This is kind of the concept. There are homes here, open area, and then a place for people to play with children and a basketball court. I mean, that's the concept we have now as a park owned by the city of Moscow, and that's why people signed the petition and wanted to keep the park in its current location. It's got a central location in the middle of Phase 2, and it isn't in Alturas Park. When you exit Alturas Park, if you're coming from above, you're in an industrial, you're in a business park, industrial zone. Okay, and then
and you have about a minute to
okay. And then referring to the proposed park, if it doesn't happen, will I be upset? No, I won't be upset because they need a park, and I'm not going to doubt this. This is word for word. Indian Hills 6th edition, and all the previous editions need a park. So he agrees with us, and he's lumping it all together and saying all the previous editions. So where the proposed park, it does a quarter mile out. Bring in Lorien Lane, bring in Pinecone. And would we be upset if we don't keep our park that is currently owned by the city of Moscow, and that was proposed by Thompson Development and approved by the City Council in 2008? Yes, we would be upset because it better serves our neighborhood and the neighborhood that is already there. And that's where we got all those signatures from. And the current park is more accessible, and this was on the petition. And so this is a picture of what the park will look like. And thank you. And any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Regan. Good timing. Council have questions for Mr. Regan. Walter?
Not to be argumentative, but I walked up on the proposed park today,
Uh-huh.
and all I saw was Moscow Mountain, Tomer Butte, and Paradise Ridge. Now, I guess had I looked down to see what I didn't want to see, I could have seen the roofs of buildings. And it's not an industrial park; it's a tech park. There's no industry in Alturas; it is a technical park. And I don't mean to be argumentative about it at all, but in the eye of the beholder, that kind of thing. I don't have any idea why a developer would want to offer that view up on top to a park. I mean, that strikes me as very high.
Walter, do you have a question for Mr. Regan?
Would you agree that's a great place to build houses?
Yes.
Where the park's proposed?
It's not as good as this site, but let me show you.
Houses?
Let me show you the thing that you would not potentially see Tomer Butte from that site because, let me get the pointer, because you're looking here at Tomer Butte over here. Well, this whole southern border can be apartments, condos, offices. That will block all view toward Tomer Butte.
Could be blocked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only view you have is really what I showed you. I mean, that's why I took the pictures and presented it. I thought it would be great for residential lots because that's what they're proposing. They want to keep that with us, where we're proposing we'd like to keep this because it's more centrally located. So like I said, we can't see what this will be. They won't tell us what's going to be developed there. And since we can't see what it's going to be, we know this is a known entity. I showed the view, and we're not that wasn't our issue, but there's a nice slope, and it's south-facing, and it wouldn't be icy, and it's centrally located. And with the pedestrian accesses going through here, we think it makes a great place for people to visit.
Other questions for Mr. Regan? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Is there other testimony in opposition or general testimony?
Good evening. My name is Jerry Wegman. I live at 111 Arrow Street here in town. And I'm here to speak in a limited fashion. I'm only going to address the issue of the location of the park, whether it should stay in the old location or the new location. We're trying to get a map here to help assist in the description. Which one do you need? The one that had the old location of the park and the new location with, the surrounding lot lines. Yeah, it was his. I think it was his third slide. And if I could not begin until the slide, I'd appreciate it.
You haven't begun.
Yeah,
I mean, well, we had 15 seconds on there. But.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And this is the pointer thing? Oh, good. Okay. And as I said, I'm here on some limited issues. The only issue I'm going to concern myself with, the main issue that I'm personally concerned with, is children's safety. The field of parkland design and park design includes consideration of what designs are inclined to be safer for people, especially children, and which are less safe. I have some articles which I'll give to the council later on which iterate these points. But all the articles emphasize one thing with respect to the safety of children, parkland safety, and that is a thing that is known in the field as natural surveillance, which is the ability of people to have unobstructed views as to what's going on in the park. And if we compare these two parks, the old park, we see that there is excellent natural surveillance around this parkland. We have 9 residential lots on 3 sides. That means in the summer times especially, there'll be people that are going to be backyards, patios, decks out there. People are going to be out there. People are going to be around to see what's going on inside the park. In addition, we have Indian Hills Drive here, which the literature calls a perimeter drive, and that is also considered good natural surveillance because people are going by and they can see what's going on. So in the existing park, there is quite good, very good natural surveillance, which is an important factor for safety, as these articles I'm going to give you will point out, and as your own common sense will tell you. Now, in the proposed substitution park that is proposed by the developer, and I don't mean to castigate the developer that they're cold-hearted or they're looking to increase the possibility of crime. Their focus is on some other factors. Nevertheless, we have to consider the possibility of crime. As most of you probably know, within the city of Moscow, there currently reside 39 registered sex offenders, according to the Idaho State Police. 8 of those registered sex offenders live within 1 mile of the proposed parks. So we need to take very seriously the possibility of crime in those parks. Let's take a look at natural surveillance in the new proposed park. These 2 parcels here are commercially zoned. They're RTO. The problem with that, and along the perimeter, this may be 40% of the perimeter of the park. The problem with the RTO zoning, the commercial zoning on that northern border, is that after normal business hours, nobody's there. This is a deserted area. It is not a safe area. It is not a good area for natural surveillance. Everybody knows that you don't want to be walking around a deserted area, especially late at night, but that's what you're going to have along this northern border. Along the southern border, we have RO, we have residential office in the proposed rezone. Residential office, as has been indicated, is a very flexible zoning. You can have all kinds of things there. I was told by zoning folks that you could have, we talked about high density, but you could also have offices, it's residential office, which means you could have dentist's office, lawyer's office, other kinds of offices. So according to the zoning that is being requested, you could have a line of offices along this southern border. Again, these offices are going to be deserted after normal business hours. It is not going to be a safe environment for children along that southern border or along the northern border.
Mr. Wegman, I'll have you conclude your remarks, please.
So, okay, so to sum up, to my mind, the safety of children is the overwhelming concern. I think that trumps views and size, all kinds of other things. We want to keep our children safe. The existing park location is a relatively safe location with good natural surveillance. The proposal is significantly less safe, and for that reason alone, I think the council should reject the request, the proposal for relocating the park, keep it where it is with good natural surveillance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll see that our city clerk has a copy of that as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there other testimony in general opposition or general testimony?
They're all the same, that's all.
Good evening. Ronnie Wegman, 111 Arrow Street, Moscow. I've heard the developer describe the creation of one large park by taking the existing Alturas Park and adding in the proposed exchange property. Because of the slope nature of the way these 2 parks would connect, I've also heard talk of a serpentine path that would be actually linking them. So most people that I've spoken to, and believe me, I've spoken with many, don't envision this as one larger park. It really is seen as the existing Alturas Park down here and the proposed swampland park up here with a path that would connect the 2. The other point that I would like to make is that, again, in speaking to many of my neighbors in Indian Hills regarding the swap, the bottom line is people would rather have a smaller park surrounded by homes rather than a larger park potentially surrounded by business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Wegman.